Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another video on the channel. My name is Dan or X2Shoes, and I've been streaming for about 2 years now. I've been making YouTube videos for a year, all about streaming and all about content creation, all that kind of stuff, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. So yesterday I took to my Twitter and I asked you all wonderful people out there to ask me your questions. Do a little Q&A on Twitter and ask me some of your biggest streaming questions, and some of these questions are so good. So today I'm going to be answering some of the questions that you wonderful people in the community had to ask about your streams and about me. Some of them are just personal questions, I guess, as well, which is cool. And don't worry, if I didn't get to your question in this video, stick around anyway, because a lot of these questions are actually very applicable to nearly every type of streamer. So hang on out, enjoy yourself, leave a like. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare are a wonderful and magnificent online learning tool that can teach you literally anything you want to know. If you want to learn how to make emotes for your stream, if you want to learn how to edit your YouTube videos, if you wanted to learn how to knit, play the piano, the saxophone. I'm always talking about the importance of growing as a creator, and Skillshare is a tool that has genuinely helped me do that. One course that really caught my eye recently that I thought was absolutely amazing was Creativity Unleashed. Discover, hone, and share your voice online by Nathaniel Drew. If you've been around the platform long enough, you've probably heard of Nathaniel Drew, amazing creator. In this course, he takes you through finding your niche and finding your voice in your videos online. This course really does take you through finding your own tone of voice, even if you're in a niche that's populated by a lot of people trying to do the same thing as you. In his course, Nathaniel teaches you things like identifying your value as a creator, establishing your core theme, as well as evolving your work as you grow, which is something that is so valuable. I highly recommend this course for sure. It's been absolutely invaluable to me the last few weeks. If you want to check out Skillshare for yourself, make sure you follow the link in the description, and the first 1,000 people to click that link will receive a free month of Skillshare. So what are you waiting for? Go get learning, teach yourself some cool stuff. I just spat. All right, so let's jump into some wonderful questions, which I have right here. First question comes from Val Kelly. Hello, Val. Thank you for asking a question. How do you get over feeling bad for strategically asking for subs? I feel like I'm doing well, but I'd love to have more subscribers and sell more merch. But I find it hard to do things like your casino night or subathons because I feel ... greedy, for lack of a better word. Firstly, I completely understand this. This is something that I consistently and probably always will struggle with. The reality of the situation is, look, obviously as a creator, you would like more subscribers. Everybody would like more subscribers. It's part of the game. However, I feel that when done the right way, it does not come across as greedy or beggy when you're trying to, incentivize subscriptions on your channel. For example, on my channel, I always do a sub goal. Now, what I always like to be able to do is offer something in return should we hit that sub goal. Nothing tangible, but typically these are things like, I'll come up with a great idea for a stream. Recently, we did like a chaos cooking stream where chat were able to pick the ingredients, or I'll do a long horror stream or some sort of event. Something that I kind of discuss with chat at the start of the month. I give them some options. I ask them their input for what they would like to see on the sub goal. So that way, people want to see that bit of content. I don't think you need to feel greedy, but if that's the case, offering something in return when you hit your goal, totally fine. You have to understand that there's a difference between incentivizing subscriptions and then begging for them. There is some creators that do just really beg for subscriptions or almost pressure their audience. So as long as you're offering something, I think, in return and not pressuring people, that's completely fine. Secondly, as well, by selling merch or by having a sub goal, you're not forcing anybody to do those things. It's not as if they can't watch you or if you're forbidding them from watching you if they don't subscribe or buy your merch, right? Some of the people who've been around my community for a long time aren't subscribed, and that's completely fine. I'm happy that they're just there, and if they're a subscriber, great. If they're not, I'm happy to have you in the chat all the same. If your attitude is positive and you mean well, people will understand that and they won't think that you're being greedy. This next question is from Kimons. Hello, Kimons. If you could go back and change one thing about your content creation career, what would it be? That thing can be anything related to the content creation journey. I think if I could have gone back, I would have absolutely dialed it back 100% when I first started streaming. I've been pretty transparent on the channel before that when I first started streaming, I had just lost a job. I didn't know what to do. We were going through a time where everybody was working from home, and the way I kept busy was by treating my stream like a job from the get-go. As in I would wake up at like 8 a.m, be at my desk live at 9 a.m, stream till 1, take an hour break and start the stream up again at 2 o'clock, again till like 6 or 7 o'clock. And I did this 5 days a week from like 0 followers. I think that was a really bad idea starting off because I missed out, I think, on a lot of fun early on by treating it as a job straight away. That's why I'm always so vocal about not treating your stream as a business or as a job straight away, because the low view number days or the 0 view number days mean so much more to you when you're treating this as a job. So I think if I kind of dialed it back at the start, that would have been way more beneficial. Other thing is, I really wish I started a YouTube channel sooner or made other content sooner. From the first year of me streaming on Twitch, I did nothing else other than stream. Now I still managed to grow to a couple of thousand followers that way. However, I think it would have been way more beneficial if I had have done YouTube or other content way quicker. Next up, we have Yaslana. Hello, Yaslana. How many times have you seriously considered quitting? For context, I find sometimes that black dog likes to come along and sap all the joy from things, and I know I'm not alone. Plus RSD and imposter syndrome, so I'm curious. Honestly, I have this like every few weeks, and I think this is completely normal and not something you need to worry about. It's inevitable that when you take on any venture, be that a sport, a musical instrument, a new job, whatever, there's always going to be a time where you are not enjoying it or want to do something different. That is completely normal and natural, and I'd be worried if you were never experiencing this. Unfortunately, there's no way to kind of get around these feelings. They're gonna come in, but I think the defining factor is that, you know, how you use that and how you deal with it. I know it's cliche, but nothing worth doing is easy, and I think it says a lot more about you as a creator or you as a person when you can push through those feelings and say, you know, no, I'm sticking with this. Like, I don't care the fact that this has been a hard day or a bad day or my content's not performing. Like, use that and channel that energy into like, well, let's create something better. If you are inherently not enjoying something and you find that you're having the feelings of like, oh, I should quit, I'm not having fun, more so than the feelings of, this is awesome, I'm having fun, maybe it is time to take a little bit of time off or try something new. And there's no shame in that either. But I definitely think pushing through those feelings and, you know, using it to almost motivate yourself is a healthy way to do that. But on the flip side, if you find that you're a bit overwhelmed, no harm in taking a break. Panda says, hello Panda. If you take a break from streaming and are finding it tough to get back into streaming, is that a sign that you should give up on streaming completely, or should you try to dive back into streaming? I've actually found myself giving this analogy so much this week, and I don't know how many times I've said this on stream or recording, so if I've repeated this a load of times, I'm sorry. If you know how to drive a car and you don't drive a car for 3 or 4 months, okay? The first time you get back in that car, you're gonna feel really weird and like, oh God, like how do I do this again? And where's the indicator? And where's this? And oh, I'm a bit nervous, a bit shaky. But once you start driving and you get back in the swing of things after a few minutes, you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly how to do this. The way I see that is like, if you've taken a break from streaming, you're never going to know where it could have gone if you just completely give up on it. People have this whole idea that like taking a break is like detrimental to their channel because it completely destroys it. Yeah, sometimes when you come back, it's a little bit, you know, sometimes people forget about you. They don't see you live as much in their follower list. They just assume that you've gone. But by just getting back into the swing of things and by doing it and going live, you start to get back in people's memories. You put more visibility back on yourself and people come back and watch you who maybe have just forgotten about your stream for a few weeks. Unfortunately, you can't just expect to pick up the pieces straight away. You gotta just do a little bit of that work sometimes to get back to where you know you can be. Spooky Deer, hello Spooky, says, you're a great storyteller. Have you ever considered making videos of telling these stories? I absolutely have. I've been meaning to make a second channel for a long time of just more casual, you know, personality based stuff. I'm going to do it. I'm just really busy right now, but I will do it. Thank you very much. Holy Panda says, what channel size is a good size to begin looking for sponsorships, and what are some red flags when it comes to sponsors? Great question. Look, there's no like benchmark of, okay, I've got this many followers or this many viewers, now it's time to start reaching out to sponsors. Sponsorships work really differently. I think people think that you have to be a massive creator in order to gain a sponsorship. Like, I did my first sponsored stream when I had like, I think 15 to 20 viewers. But I also think that if it's early days for your stream, your focus should be building a core audience, not selling that audience anything. Your main thing is to essentially be selling yourself, not monetary based, but you're selling yourself to your audience and showing your value as a creator. And I think that should be your focus rather than, you know, oh, what deals could I get? 99% of the time, your audience will be happy that you are, you know, gaining some sponsorship deals and they'll be supportive for you in that. At the same time, don't, you know, worry about getting all these deals straight away. You have to offer value as a creator first to an audience before you can offer value to a company. Couple of red flags to look out for. Sometimes sponsorship requirements can be insanely heavy for very little payoff. So for example, the sponsor or company you reach out to might have this requirement that you have to have a logo constantly on your stream, a bot in chat every 10 minutes pushing a link to a product, panels under your stream. You might be required to say something every hour on your stream. And on top of all that, this might be like a system where you only get paid if you make X or Y amount of sales of their product. And a lot of these times, these companies who do these affiliate programs have payout thresholds, meaning that you have to have earned, let's say $100 or $200 before you can actually cash yourself out. And if you're only making like $2 2 or 3% on a purchase, that takes a long time, and you are giving up a lot of stream real estate for that company. That's why I'm saying that, you know, putting your value as a creator to your audience first is a big thing in the early days, as opposed to pushing what can be sometimes very intrusive brand deals. But you know, make sure that you have your contact emails on your socials or on your streams that brands can reach out to you if they'd like, and also be wary of brands trying to lock you into a contract for an absurd amount of time. Early on in YouTube, there was a lot of brands who would try to offer you deals for like 2 years at like a fixed price, meaning that no matter how much you grow in that 2 years, meaning that you're locked in at whatever price you signed up at. Damo Darko says, you're on Twitch, YouTube, and now Level Up. Bar miracles in scheduling, what do you do to keep up energy and maintain consistency? Those of you who don't know, I recently started a business with my friend Connor called Level Up. We offer all sorts of services like video editing and TikTok editing and design for your streams and stuff to creators. You can check us out here on our Twitter. Time, especially lately, is just super short, and I find that I'm not really looking after myself as much as I should be. I'm up late, I'm, you know, not going out and exercising as much. But look, that's something I'm aware of, and it's just kind of the period of work I'm in right now. I definitely think that giving yourself time away from the computer is so important. You know, getting out for a walk, spending time with your friends or your partners as much as you can is fantastic. Even if that's just getting on and playing video games by yourself for a little while where there's no added pressure of an audience watching you, super important. Definitely productivity apps as well help me maintain stuff, like things like Monday.com is something I've recently started using. I also use Trello as well to track different tasks, and that's really, really helpful. But I definitely think just, you know, having somewhat of a schedule throughout your day and being somewhat disciplined with yourself goes a long way, you know? Like, there's nobody forcing me to get out of bed. If I don't get to my desk till 11 a.m., nobody's gonna give out to me. But getting yourself into a routine is super, super useful. Just trying to get rest, trying to get sleep, and trying to give time for you and what you like to do outside of the content wheel or grind or whatever is super, super, super important. Sweaty Gamer Gains says, what is the sweet spot for streaming hours? Due to life stuff, I'm unable to stream more than an hour, but I can at least do them 5 to 7 days a week. Firstly, don't stream 7 days a week. That's way too much. I think if you can only stream for an hour at a time, that's completely fine. Do what you can and no more. And the thing is, there's no sweet spot, right? There's no like definite time that, you know, you should be going live. I think looking at your channel analytics and looking at where people who follow you live, their rough geographies, is a great way to identify what times they're gonna go live. Also have a look at the schedules of other creators that people in your community might watch, because that lets you know when they're live, and you probably don't wanna be live at exactly the same time they are, because then your audience are conflicted who to watch. Yes, there's peak hours for traffic on Twitch and peak days where the viewership is much higher. However, I find that experimenting and just trialing different times or different scheduling was the best way for me. I was able to identify, oh yeah, the stream performs much better if I stream this time, or I know not to stream at this time because people aren't awake or whatever. So just trial and error. How can you make streaming and content more accessible to viewers, specifically keeping those in mind with disabilities? This is a really great question, and something I actually asked my Twitch chat about last night. Streaming should be accessible to everybody, and as creators, we should strive to make our streams as accessible as possible. One thing that I've used in the past is a closed caption extension. You can also get a plugin for OBS that does this as well. I'll leave that link below. What this does is it creates subtitles for people who have difficulties hearing or are hearing impaired, that they can read along with your stream as well. And it's really good, and it works really, really well. But that is really a great question and a really important question. And I think if anyone has any other suggestions on this, please do leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear them. Spooter Gaming, hello Spooter, says, where would you say you draw your inspiration for new content ideas? Literally just by sometimes having a problem myself, or identifying a problem myself and then coming up with a solution and making it. A lot of the time I come up with ideas for videos when I'm sleeping, or especially in the shower. So I just keep this at my desk or my bedside locker, and I just write stuff down the minute I have it. One thing I've always found is that I literally never come up with ideas when I'm trying to come up with ideas. They always just kind of land in my head when I'm thinking about something completely unrelated to streaming. So if I'm sitting at my computer, I'm like, all right, Dan, like new video idea. Very rarely will I come up with anything. I think forcing the creative process is sometimes a little bit counterproductive. World of Maya says, how do you handle the stress of not receiving a steady income? That's a very good question, and something I've actually talked about, I feel, at length lately on my streams. And the reality of this question is that, like, this is kind of what you sign up for. Until you become the biggest streamer on Twitch, you kind of are gonna have this worry each month. The biggest thing I can say is that by diversifying income as best as you can as a creator, by like not relying solely on one platform, you alleviate a little bit of that worry. So like, luckily, you know, if Twitch is underperforming one month, I luckily have YouTube that I could fall back on. If YouTube is underperforming some months I have Twitch. Both of them are underperforming. There's a couple of other projects I do for, sponsors and things like that. It's definitely something that becomes easier over time. The first few months of being a full-time creator, I was definitely more worried about this, but I think just having a backup plan, like I'm very lucky that I have a qualification or I've got other skills that if this, flop tomorrow, I can go and I could sort myself out. I think you should always go into this with a backup and you almost give yourself a timeline. Okay, well, by this month I want to be here, and if I'm not here, okay, I got to reassess some stuff. Maybe I got to change some things. It's definitely important. But look, I think, believing in your community that you've fostered and believing in yourself and that it will work out is a big thing. I'm a big believer in just, you'll know when you're doing the right thing or when you're doing the wrong thing, and if it's just feeling right, sometimes that alleviates a bit of that stress. I think in a more actionable sense, have a rainy day fund, have a backup plan, and diversify your income. Everybody, that's going to bring us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for everyone who submitted a question. I might do this kind of thing again. It was a lot of fun and I really like hearing people's questions and seeing what they think about as streamers. Follow me on Twitter if you have questions of your own. Typically when we're doing stream review videos, Twitter is where I put out the call for submissions for that as well. We haven't done one of them in a while, so hopefully we'll do another one soon. But everyone, that's going to bring us towards the end of the video. Big thank you to everyone who watched it today. Subscribe if you enjoyed yourself. Like it if you liked it. It means the world to me. Big thank you to all our channel members this month. If you'd like to support the channel as a channel member, you can do so below. There's a lot of tiers. They're very affordable. It's a good time and it's a fantastic way to support the channel. If you missed our last video about the hard truths of being a Twitch streamer, check it out there. It's a good one, and I will see you next week. Much love. Peace out. Bye-bye.